But it's also an American right of workers not to unionize.
Billionaire Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz was caught in a leaked video begging his Starbucks managers to try and stop the union efforts in their stores, vilifying those who are trying to organize in the process. So this is from an hour-long video conference that was leaked to perfectunion.us. I'm going to show you 3 different clips, 2 from Howard Schultz, 1 from another executive. Before I get to those clips, just to give you the baseline here about what is going on, 25 Starbucks locations in the U.S. have won their vote to unionize. 200 more locations have filed for a vote and are awaiting that vote. And in the process of all of this going on, Starbucks corporate freaking out that their workers actually want to have their own voice, they brought Howard Schultz back in as CEO. So as of April 4th, they brought him into this position to try and fix, from their perspective, what is going on. So here is the first clip.
There is an outside force that is trying to disrupt the future of our company. Now, as I said in the letter, it is an American right of workers to organize. I understand that completely. But it's also an American right of workers not to unionize and to embrace the values, the culture of his or her company.
Just incredible. So he claims here that there is an outside force working against us. The outside force being your own partners, your own workers, wanting to form a union, to have their own collective voice. That's somehow an outside force. He's trying to make this us versus them mentality, and he references this outside force throughout this entire conference to, again, push home this point that it's us, the entire company, versus this outside force, which is just their own partners, what they call their workers, trying to form unions. Now, this comment here is so deranged. It's an American right not to unionize. I mean, in the sense that people have the freedom to do what they want in terms of voting for or against a union. Yes, it is their right to make that decision. But that's like saying it's an American right to sit down and shut up when you are stressed, overworked, and underpaid. Yeah, I guess you have the right to sit down and shut up, but maybe if you actually treated these two sides equally, as you claim to be doing here, then you wouldn't be trying to fight this union effort and allow your workers to organize where they want to. But we have seen again and again, this is recognized by the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, several times here throughout just the past month. So a few examples. Starbucks has been hit with an NLRB charge over its firing of Layla Dalton, a union leader in Phoenix. Starbucks Workers United, the union effort, says the company has coercively interrogated pro-union workers and illegally fired Layla due to her role in the union. So the NLRB is looking into Starbucks firing somebody trying to form a union. Another example, National Labor Relations Board has sued Starbucks for its illegal union busting in a new complaint filed on Wednesday. This is from April 13th. The NLRB says that Starbucks illegally interrogated and threatened workers in Phoenix with reprisal for unionizing. And another example from the 19th, Scoop, the NLRB just hit Starbucks with yet another lawsuit over brutal union busting and firing workers in Arizona. Much more to come on that situation and other union busting tactics over the next few days. So if they really treated these two sides equally, as Howard Schultz is pretending to do, a right to unionize and a right not to unionize, then they wouldn't be going to these sorts of lengths to try and break up these union efforts. So let me get now, actually, before I even get to the next clip, just more examples on this. So Starbucks fires, this is from 2 months ago. Starbucks fires workers involved in union push as U.S. movement gains momentum. So that was in Tennessee. So this is ongoing. And there's, in fact, been more than Starbucks Workers United have filed more than 80 unfair labor practice complaints against the company. Now, let me get to the second clip.
But the challenges right now are real and they're in front of us. And the challenges are multiple. The pandemic, a post-pandemic customer, the relationship we have with our customers, competitive threats, and now a new outside force that's trying desperately to disrupt our company. Well, I believe in Starbucks more than ever because I believe in all of you. My faith and confidence in the future of Starbucks is based on my faith and confidence in you, not some outside force that's going to dictate or disrupt what we are and who we are and what we do. And clearly, there's been a sea change in the country with regard to worker rights, recognition that so-called workers need and require and should have. But when I think back of all the things we've tried to do as a company, not that we have not made mistakes and we're certainly not perfect, but I know in my heart that we have always put partners first.
He knows in his heart. Billionaire Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz knows in his heart that he's always put partners first. If that's the case, then you would currently be allowing them to unionize in the locations where they are doing this. That would be putting them first, allowing them to have their voice, not firing people that are trying to organize these unions. These people are absolutely disgusting. And you see the entire framing there, viewing this as us versus them, this outside force trying to disrupt who we are. Again, not recognizing this outside force is within your own company, workers trying to collectively bargain. That's it. And again, if you put partners first, you wouldn't be getting in the way of them trying to collectively bargain. Now, last clip here, this is going to be Rossann Williams, the company's president for North America, who also has something to say.
Do your role as a store manager, make sure your partners get balanced information about what's going on, especially in this role of us union busting all over the country. I was in Buffalo for 4 months with our proud partners in Buffalo. I saw day to day what those partners did to run the very best stores they could, all the culture and their love in the community and their coffee. Proud Starbucks partners. There was no union busting going on there.
All right, so Rossann Williams, Starbucks president for North America, claims there was no union busting going on in Buffalo when she was there. First, you have to question, why was she there? If these stores are trying to unionize, trying to organize for this vote, why do you need the president of the company for North America there? What's her purpose? Obviously, her purpose is to represent the interests of the executives. And it isn't just her presence that gives that away, it's what actually happened on the ground. Her claiming that there was not any busting going on there is just a lie. So this from More Perfect Union. During her 4 months in Buffalo, Williams was regularly photographed inside stores, cleaning carpets and holding meetings alongside an armada of out-of-state managers that were flown into Western New York to serve as support managers between September and December. As More Perfect Union documented, throughout those months, the company regularly shut down stores, isolated new workers, held captive audience meetings, and subjected workers to a barrage of emails, texts, and videos with anti-union rhetoric. In the meeting, Williams claimed that there was no union busting going on there, an assertion that Starbucks has repeatedly made but failed to explain despite consistent requests for comment made by More Perfect Union. So, she was lying. But of course, that's her job here. She's an executive. She is representing the interests of shareholders, of executives. She doesn't care about the workers, ultimately. If she can pretend that they are being treated well, that they have nothing to complain about, that they have no reason to unionize, whatever, then let them unionize. Like, if this isn't an issue, if everything is fine, then why do you have to interfere? You're interfering because you do not want your workers to have their own collective voice. You're afraid of what that might mean for executives, for shareholders, as opposed to looking at who is generating the value in your company. Why is your company worth so much? The people working in these stores is the reason. Allow them to have their own collective voice. You trying to stop that is the problem. So, look, despite all of this, they're succeeding. These organizers, these workers are succeeding. 25 stores have already voted to unionize. 200 more have filed. This is why these executives are freaking out, why they are flying, managers from other states into different states where there's these efforts going on to try and stop this effort from being successful, because this is all they have left. They're trying to do whatever they can to try and stop this. holding meetings like this where the entire focus is about these unions as an outside force that is disrupting the company. They're trying to do this to try and push their managers as much as possible to push their workers to vote against these union efforts. But ultimately, the collective power of workers and them understanding their worth to the company means a lot more than the anti-union propaganda being put out by these executives.